Hello and welcome back to Elden Ring. This is part 3 of our Dex run through the Shadow of the Erdtree DLC. Last time, we started out by getting the Great Katana. We got the Fire Spark perfume bottle. We got some pants. The Swift Spear. A Skidoo Tree fragment. I don't remember how many we got, but it was at least one. We got an Ancient Dragon Smithing Stone. A Grave Bird bracelet. We got Talier's concoction. We got the ability to craft hefty poison pots. We got Talisman of the Dread. We got at least one revered spirit ash. I don't know how many we got specifically, but it was at least one. We got Horned Bairn, along with the two-headed turtle talisman, and the ability to purchase mushrooms and red flesh mushrooms. And we also got Bloodfiend Hexer's Ashes, which was in Rivermouth Cave. So we did a bit more of the Gravesite Plain open world. Here we're at Elac River Cave, and we're gonna make our way down here because I don't want to go into any of the legacy dungeons just yet. Hefty rock pot. Yeah, I don't want to make my way into any of the legacy dungeons just yet. I know that I went into a cave last time, but that's a minor dungeon. That's a bit different. Hello. Yeah, see, people saying that whips are bad. I really don't know what people are talking about. I don't think there's anything here, so we can... Lobster. I remember that there's something down there. I don't recall what specifically it was. And we can run past all these guys, because they don't got nothing useful for us. Besides runes, which... admittedly, runes are pretty useful. But my character's already like level 150, so... Go on, shoot me. There you go. The first time running into those things, way back in my first run, when Elden Ring was new, oh, those things were terrifying. Hadn't the slightest a clue on how to deal with them. Then I realized it's pretty easy to run away from them, as long as you just stay looking backwards towards them, and then do like a quick jolt to the side as they go to shoot you with their ranged attack. Pretty good way to deal with them, as long as you don't run face first into something because you're looking backwards. So don't do that, but as long as you don't do that, you'll be fine. I don't think there was anything back into there. And big guy. and there's one of these big sheep rolling around. I don't remember if you have to kill it for the thing, or if it's just a normal item you can pick up. Yeah, there you can see it rolling around. Please. Yeah, lightning perfume bottle. And then yellow Fulgur Bloom, which is different from the base game Fulgur Bloom. What you need to, or like what it creates, I don't know. Because I'm not really into crafting. But it's different. So there you go. It might create like the DLC version of the lightning grease and lightning liver. It might be that. Both of which, if I remember correctly, they're more potent, but they don't last as long. Which is, I mean, whether that's better or worse is an individual judgment call. Personally, I'm gonna say not as much of a fan, because the greases and whatnots tend to last, I think, like 60 seconds. It's like a minute or a minute and a half. And boss fights don't end that quickly. Unless you're doing some kind of cheese method / have a cheese build. Which I'm not a fan of. If you want to do it, go for it. It's just not my personal style. I remember seeing this and thinking, Small Blythe? But no. Very much not Small Blythe. Sir, you can calm down. That was half my health instantly. Oh. Doing a lot of damage, sir. Yeah, see, it's like, these things are fast. But if you're fighting something with a lot of mobility, they really struggle to hit. Because the thing can just move out of your range. Whereas it's a bit harder to do that if you're using whips, since whips have more range. And they also don't attack at the same time, meaning it's easier to catch enemies. Although those things, they're not oppressive, really. They're not too difficult. But they definitely take a lot more than your normal basic demi-human. Clearly. And I'm not really trying nearly hard enough. Hi. That's a skidoo tree fragment. And we got ourselves a little turnaround there. But this is the forward direction, sending us deeper into the area. Which we can go here. Summoning pool. In case you want to summon. And then yeah, there's a big old group of demi-humans. See how they try to jump away? But our weapons have good range and don't attack at the same time. So we easily ended up catching them. I was about to say, man, the demi-human queen is just really moving forward. Like, I didn't think they would move nearly this much forward. And then against low mobility single targets, curse swords are a lot better. We also don't have bleed on these. Hello. How are you? Yeah, see, this is why I was sitting back, because I don't like fighting bosses when there's a ton of enemies. Because then it's like, alright, you have to focus on the boss and the group of enemies. And I just don't find that to be enjoyable. Especially since the bosses tend to be a bit more simple as like a way to compensate. $100,000 runes and Starline sword, which is a dexterity intelligence katana. There we go. Like I said, just I don't like it because I prefer the one-on-one duels. And when a boss has additional enemies, they usually end up being a lot easier, more simple, as a way of kind of counterbalancing having additional enemies. And so I don't really find it fun with the add-ons because I prefer one-on-one duels, but then even once you get rid of all the additional enemies, I still don't find it to be enjoyable because the boss is more simplified. Hello, bird. Alright, okay, that's why I was confused. 'Cause I thought we teleported to this one, because I usually don't grab that second side of grace. I say usually on my third character. But still. First two characters, I didn't grab that Site of Grace until after going through that section. There they are. Hello. 4 smithing stone 7s is pretty nice. However, I'm not fighting the dragon. As I've said, the Ghost Flame dragons are pretty fun, but I don't really think that they're super worth it, since all they tend to give you consists of runes and ancient dragon smithing stones. I don't remember if they give you the normal ones or the somber ones, but they give you one of the ones. And either way, not that useful, because by this point you probably got your weapons maxed out. The whips I have at plus 24. And I have most of the weapons I got at plus 24 besides the Nagakiba, because I was using that for a bit. But still. Here. Yeah. As you can see, I have 11 normal ones and 4 somber ones, which the weapons I'm using take normal ones, so I could very easily upgrade the whips. I'm just deciding not to, as another small hit to their effectiveness, just to prove that, again, even if you nerf them like 2 or 3 times, they're still good. They're still definitely usable. And I know there's a boss over here, and you go like over here and there's a area you can drop down and then head underground below the water to get to them. But it's just an NPC styled enemy that gives you a pair of curved swords. So, not too concerned about that. And kind of want to go to Dragon's Pit because that gets us access to Charo's Hidden Grave, which has a golden hippo, which gets us a skidoo tree fragment. But I think we can put that off for now. I think for now we can continue on in the Castle Ensis. Unless... How close are we to another upgrade? We got one. Alright, so that takes 2 now. I have 1. Okay, but there's one up in here. And trying to think about it, I know there's one in here before Rellana. I know there's one in Bellerat before the Dancing Lion. And then there's one in Crow's Hidden Grave upon killing the Golden Hippo. So that could possibly get us another 2. So we could possibly have 7 upgrades before taking on a major boss like Rellana. That we would need to take on the boss in Dragon Pit. So that would take a minor boss, at least. Ow. I was about to say, sir, you are free to fall at any moment. There you go. He falls. Hello. Lazuli robe. Like I said, single low mobility targets. Curved swords are better. For single, not super high mobility, but for single slightly higher mobility enemies, or enemies that have a bit more poise or stance health, not a ton, but a bit more, to where they can at least take a few curved sword swings. Whips are better. So like the Blood Fiends are a good example. Walk up and do like that to the Blood Fiends and they don't flinch. But you do this to the Blood Fiends and they flinch pretty much every single time. With the occasional exception of doing an attack or like being in a combo. Yeah, you don't want to rush in, because I think the way you're supposed to take this I think the way you're supposed to take this is you come in and you see the enemies to the right first. Nope. Yeah, you come in, look to the left, see nothing. You look to the right, you see the enemies. You move to the right to fight them. And then the enemies from the left come at you. And then you're dealing with 2 Mesmer soldiers and 2 dogs. I think that's the way things are supposed to happen. And so it's supposed to be like a bit of an informal trap. And I'm very tempted to use this weapon again because it could be used as a dex weapon. But I used light greatswords the last run, and I want to use a different weapon class every run. And I typically use 2 weapon classes outside of the single weapon class runs. One is like a smaller, lighter weapon for small enemies, and then one that's a bit slower for bigger enemies. And it works very well. And then Black Knight. I think you're supposed to see the Black Knight move up aggressively and then have those 2 enemies come at you. Again, that's just what I'm assuming. But if I don't know an area super well, I tend to play very cautiously. And as you can see, I absolutely demolished that Black Knight. Again, plus 24, so not even fully upgraded. And they're on Cold Infusion, which has D in Strength and Int, which I only have at 20 and 10. And they're whips, which people insist are garbage for some reason. But I destroyed the Black Knight there. And these feel like the most difficult Black Knights in the series. Could be wrong about that, and that could absolutely be subjective, but to me, they're the most difficult version of the Black Knights. But I destroyed them with whips just now. And that's absolutely not a me being skillful thing, because I'm not. I've said it before, I'll say it again. I'm very okay at these games. I can usually get by through having a decent bit of knowledge. Oh. But in your first few runs, you don't have that knowledge base. And that's why you get caught by some traps like those. Yeah, there's one here. It's this item. That's fine. Either way, we got a Screw-Tree Blessing. King Mikola, or Kind Mikola, asks the tower, or seeks the tower. Man, I cannot read English. I'm sorry. Kind Mikola seeks the tower sealed by shadow and the gate of divinity found there. If we are to reach him, we must burn the tree that seals the path, and for that we require a flame. Okay. And we can rest here. Yeah, that takes 2. As you can see there, we only had 5 blessings. And there are 20. So only had a quarter. A quarter of what you can get. Also, dog. Like I said, my second character, because technically this is my third. Because I didn't record the second character. But on the second character, oh yeah, by the way, that's why I'm saying Dex run instead of second run, because I figured denoting what kind of weapons I was using, or what kind of build I was using rather, would be better than just giving a number. But anyways, in that second run, I was mostly running magic. And areas like that, where you can spot the enemy, but the enemy can't get to you, really good for magic. Because I could just sit back, throw a ranged attack at the enemy, and the best thing they can do is survive and get out of the way. Or get out of my line of sight. See, you're supposed to see that enemy, go straight for them. But then that enemy gets you. But that does not work on us. No, 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 no. For we are too cautious. And then we can push this. And that opens this up to get us back here. Which I don't... I like shortcuts. I really like shortcuts. I love FromSoft's level design because it is absolutely fantastic. But that shortcut kind of makes me chuckle because it's such a not shortcut. Like, it saves you so little time. It lets you sneak past so few enemies. That I just look at it and go, does that really make our run shorter? It would have been nice for a shortcut to come later and have more of an impact. Ow. I think that they shot a tree. Because one of those shots, I think that I rolled too early and then it hit a tree, which stopped me from taking the damage. Which I appreciate the tree taking that shot for me. That was very kind of them. But anyways, yeah, like the dog. By the time I hit like the 8th run, maybe before that, but there's a lot to keep track of. So by the time I hit like the 8th run, I should be able to keep small things like that in mind and not get hit by those. But right now, don't have that knowledge, and so I do get hit by those. And that's kind of what I mean when I say that there are 3 things. There's skill, there's knowledge, and there's equipment. And I don't really have skill. That should be self-evident. And because this is only my 3rd run, I don't really have the knowledge because it typically takes me around 5 runs to start retaining most of the knowledge. So too early for me to be able to rely on knowledge. I'm not good enough to rely on skill, and so I have to rely on equipment. Hence why I say whips are actually pretty good. Because if I can rely on whips, they can't be bad. Because I simply do not have the skill or the knowledge to get through this game, especially the DLC, with bad equipment. I mean, I have the knowledge to get through the base game. Oh, there's a ladder here. I didn't find this on the first 2 runs. Don't shoot me. Oh, God. That was such a jump scare. I was not emotionally prepared for that. That was terrifying. But anyways, like I said, I didn't find this in the first 2 runs. Is that where we fought the person with the colossal sword? Colossal weapon, whatever it is? I can't think of where else that would be. But yeah, that acts as a self-loop, which is nice. But if that's what that is, that'd be another thing that I haven't found before. Oh, it is. Oh, there's an item there. Well. Again, you want to check your corners. And blue flame, that looks very nice. Wolf crest shield. A finely made blue shield featuring an engraving of a wolf under the moon excels at fending off sorceries. Alright, so if you look at the magic, fire, lightning, and holy negations, magic is the highest by 21 points, with lightning being the next. So it's a medium shield, and it's got a higher than average magic damage negation. The wolf is the beast of the Carian royal covenant, the symbol of the moon's pride that none can forget, no matter what remote lands they may thrive in. It looks like this. Cool. So, nothing too special, but it's a new shield that I found. And I like finding new shields. And we're gonna have to drop down to get that item because my brain is weird and it goes, you have to get everything at least once. And I don't know why. But it is very insistent on that fact. We're very insistent on that as a requirement. And so it must be done. So it's a drop down here. Is there anything else here? Nope. Here. Glint Blade Trio. This has an intelligence requirement of 28 and costs 19 FP. Create sigil that forms 3 projectile glint blades after delay. An old sorcery of the Carian royal family creates a sigil overhead from which 3 enemy-seeking glint blades appear after a brief delay. The sorcery can be used while in motion. Charging increases the delay. The prototypical form of sword phalanx sorcery saw different subsequent refinement in the realm of shadow. Alright, so there's a pretty basic doesn't feel like a good word to use, but it's the best I've got. So there's a pretty basic sorcery in the base game that has you raise your like sorcery staff above your head, and it creates a little magic circle above your head, and then after around a second it'll shoot out at whatever enemy you were locked onto. And it does okay damage. Basic enemy soldiers like this, it tends to take like 25 to 50% of their health, I'd say. Usually like 30 to 40%. And so it's serviceable. It's a good, like, if you're doing a full-on sorcery build, nice. But if you're doing a full-on sorcery build, it may not be worth it. Except for early on, like early to mid game. But if you're mostly going melee, just with a bit of sorcery sprinkled in, or if you're doing like a hybrid build, then it is kind of a decent option, because you can spawn like 3 or 4 before the first one actually shoots. And so it can be a good, like, shoot this before getting into an engagement in order to get some early chip damage onto some enemies, or possibly take an enemy out before the engagement starts. And so it definitely has some utility to it. It's not one of the best sorceries, but it is somewhat decent. Like I said, it has its uses. And so I'm assuming that's going to be a more powerful version. Like what we got, that Glint Blade Trio, I'm going to assume that that is a more powerful version of that. I don't think it'll do triple the damage, because that would be really, really good. But I can see it doing like 2.2 to 2.75 times the damage. Something like that. And so that would probably be, this would probably be a good option to just like one-shot basic enemy soldiers before getting into an engagement. I would say like mid-game, in like late Liurnia to the end of Altus Plateau. But I don't think you're getting this before getting there. Here's Alita. But I'm kind of curious. We can do Spell Drake Talisman +2. We can do Two-Headed Turtle Talisman. Actually, we can go back to Castle Front because something went over my head, and I just remembered it now. It's down this way. There's some bats here. It would probably be a good idea to kill them, considering we're close to a level. But here, Spell Drake Talisman +3. I want to see. So our magic is at 50. Throwing on this brings it to 60. Going from +2 to +3 brings it to 61. So this gets us an extra 1% damage negation towards magic. Oof. But Castle Lord's Chamber. So on the first run, I'm gonna get enough to level up before going into there. Because I don't want to go in with 146,000 runes. That doesn't seem like a good idea. Stab. Full health. Not enough to save you. Not enough to save you. Oh, we're gonna need a bit more than that, even. Oh, it's one of the Forager Brood down there. Huh. That's the Ruined Forge. That's the third one we found last time. We're losing stamina, but nothing is really aggroed onto us. Yeah. How about you run at me instead of throwing fire bombs? Yeah, see, the dog knows what's up. The dog ran through a firebomb. I kind of ran through a firebomb as well. Good on me, good on the dog, look at us. Fire means nothing. Mesmer and his army, complete jokes. Getting clowned on. Alright, that should be enough for level. But on the first run, I summoned Lita. I don't remember if I used Mimicked here or not. I really don't remember if I used Mimicked here or not. Is there one that ups our magic damage defense? I don't think there is. Unfortunate. Yeah, I summoned Lita, I know that for sure. I don't remember if I used Mimicked here or not. Second character, I summoned someone. Like, I summoned another person, and then I went at her a few times being summoned by other people. This time, I'm gonna go in alone at least once, just to see how well I do. Okay. She looks very cool. She's also terrifying. She's also got that classic Elden Ring off-kilter timing. I thought that would come out a bit slower. Like I said, ooh. But the Elden Ring off-kilter timings. Oh! Alright, so that was a combo. That was certainly a combo. I don't have any. I need to sneeze. Hold on. I couldn't sneeze. But yeah, I was gonna say, I know that I have a ton of armor sets here. Let's see. That's 14, that's 14.6, and magic 10.9 to 11.4. Oh, we could run with Royal Knight. 5 to 5.8, magic 3.8 to 5. There's also fire 4.5 to 4.7. So we could do that. Assuming we have the weight for it. Yeah, better at everything. Better at everything besides poise. Better at everything. Better at everything besides poise, but we still end up above 51. So that's definitely an option. I want to see if we have anything even better, though. I mean, scaled. Scaled always works super well. Not quite as defensive as Beast Champion. Oh, never mind. Never mind. Oh, I didn't know that this set was more defensive. Interesting. Oh. We can head in. classic Elden Ring. But yeah, this is definitely not... I feel like that should have hit me, but okay. Definitely not the best run to try to fight her without any help. Ooh. Because curved swords do not have good stance damage or good poise damage. So not really getting any stance brace, which means no criticals. I have heard and whether this would be any help whatsoever is very much up for debate. Ooh. But I have heard that shit can be parried. Now, the reason why I say whether that would be useful or not is debatable isn't because I'm saying it's debatable on whether it's true or not, because it's most likely true. I don't see any reason for it to not be true. The reason why I say the usefulness is debatable is because I'm not good at parrying. I can parry in Dark Souls 1 because it's very easy. Elden Ring, you're off kilter timings. Elden Ring, you're off kilter timings. Yeah, you can probably parry. I'm just garbage at parrying. Outside of... Oh my god. These combos really just keep going. Alright. But yeah, outside of Dark Souls 1, where parrying is very easy, and Bloodborne, where I have probably tens of thousands of hours, I wouldn't be surprised if some omnipotent being came down and went, oh yeah, actually you have 100,000 hours in Bloodborne. Would not surprise me. I play that game to an unhealthy degree. Ma'am, please, I'm trying to pick up my runes. Ma'am, please, I'm trying to pick up my runes. And you're committing a murder. But yeah, these combos really go on for half a century. And I'm not someone who has a big problem with that, but I know people who do have a problem with it. And I can see why. Because a lot of people are used to Dark Souls 1, Dark Souls 2, Bloodborne, even Dark Souls 3, where the enemies... I rolled too late. But yeah, they're used to all the other games where the boss has their combo. I know I'm gonna die here, by the way. But the boss has their combo, and once they're done with their combo, they pause to take their little breather, and that's when you can either take your little breather, or you can get a heal in, or you can get some hits in without needing to worry about anything. Whereas in Elden Ring, you just don't get that, because the boss finishes their combo, and then you go to take your swing, but then the boss takes another 3 swings. Oh. Ah. Got us. Alright. Yeah, these bosses are pretty tough. Like I said, they do a combo that's longer than the combos in any of the other games, and then you think they finish and you go to attack, and then they pull out another 3, 4, 5 attacks. I don't really have a problem with that, but I can see why other people do. But it's another symptom of a problem I do have, where their boss design philosophy was more about a spectacle than a fight. And my personal favorite game in the series is Bloodborne, which really prioritized the fight. And I'm gonna summon Mimic here this time. But a large part of why I love Bloodborne is because it prioritizes the fight instead of any other aspects. And some people... Jesus Christ. Oh, I got caught on that thing. Oof. But yeah, some people aren't as big on Bloodborne because of that aspect. And I can understand that. And then some people really, really got into Elden Ring far more than any of the other games. Because Elden Ring puts such a focus on the spectacle. And again, I can understand that. But my focus, or what I would like to have prioritized, isn't the spectacle, it's the fight. And I'm not saying that the fights are bad. The fights are very good. But some bosses, you can definitely feel how there was such a hyper fixation on the spectacle that it came at the cost of the fight. And those endless combos are a symptom of that. And it's a symptom that I don't mind. Like I said, that is an aspect that I do enjoy. Because perfectly dodging a really long combo can feel great. But even though I don't mind that aspect, and there are a lot of times where I enjoy that aspect, it is still a symptom of a problem. Huh. So, I mentioned before that I've only fought Rellana a few times. But I've actually never seen that attack. I've heard someone talk about it, but I've never seen it. But okay. That's Rellana. Whew. It just took Mimic Tear. It took getting, equipping a better armor set and Mimic Tear. Okay. But yeah, that's with 6 Skadootree blessings. And like I said, you can get up to 7. I'm pretty sure. Before heading into Skidoo Altus. But with that being said, that was definitely the hardest. Like, this is definitely the hardest run so far. But again, that's a mixture of I didn't have help until the very end where I pulled out Mimic Tear, and running with curve swords because they don't have as much damage or as much poise damage or as much stance damage. So, like I said, that was not the best run to decide to go solo. But I still really enjoy her. I still think she's a great boss. But with that being said, I think this is a good time to stop it. So, we got ourselves the ability to craft hefty rock pots. We got the lightning perfume bottle. We got the spirit sword, the star-lined sword, a lost ash of war, a map. We got Milady, a light greatsword, incredible weapon. Used it last run. Phenomenal, love it a lot. It's not like objectively the best, but it's very nice and it's a very elegant weapon. And it's great. And it doesn't have a sheath, and I love that. But anyways, we also got the Moonrithyll's, however you pronounce that, Knight Sword. You got Rellana's cameo. We found for the first time both the Wolfcrest Shield and the Glintblade Trio. I will definitely make sure to pick that up during the Magic run. And we got the Spelldrake Talisman +3 and the Remembrance of the Twin Moon Knight. So, on top of going through Castle Ensis and the Cerulean Coast. So, good progress today. Gonna hope to continue to get better at Rellana and hopefully be able to beat her without summons or mimic here someday. But, yeah.